Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something really important, the difference between just looking at your data and actually using it to find insights that matter. So let me just ask you this straight up. Think about the last dashboard you opened. Did it give you a clear answer? Did it tell you what to do next? Or was it just, a wall of numbers that kind of left you with more questions than you started with? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And that's exactly what we're digging into today. All right, so let's get into it. This feeling, it's something I think we've all felt, right? You're completely surrounded by data, but you feel like you have zero real information. Well, it has a name, the data overload paradox. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? When we're staring at too many metrics, too many charts with no clear story, our brains just kind of short circuit. We see everything, but we end up doing nothing at all. This phrase is just perfect. You're literally drowning in an ocean of data, but finding a single drop of useful information feels impossible. And you know what that leads to? Dashboard fatigue. People just stop looking at the reports because, hey, they aren't actually helping them make better decisions. And get this, the scale of this problem is just wow. According to Forrester, a whopping 73% of all data within a company goes completely unused for analytics. Just let that sink in for a second. Nearly 3/4 of the information we bother to collect is just sitting there, its potential totally wasted. So what's the fix? How do we break this cycle? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how we think. And that brings us to the real heart of this whole thing, the massive difference between just looking at data and truly using it. It's a tale of two very different mindsets. So, on one side, you've got the passive viewer. You know the type. They pop open a dashboard, glance at the big numbers, maybe feel a little flash of, oh good, or oh no, and then they close the tab and move on with their day. Done. But on the other side, you've got the active explorer. They see that same number and their first thought is, wait, why? They're curious. They hunt for context, for comparisons, for the story hiding behind that number. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. Being a passive viewer has real-world consequences. You're going to miss opportunities, you'll waste a ton of time chasing down false alarms. And when your boss asks why that number is what it is, you won't have an answer. Pretty soon, everyone just gives up on the data altogether. Okay, but here's the really good news. Becoming an active explorer, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. Let's break it down into a super simple, actionable framework that can help you find some killer insights, sometimes in just a couple of clicks. And I really want to be clear about this. This is not about you needing to go out and become a data scientist. You don't need to learn to code or become some kind of stats genius. No, this is all about a mindset shift. It's just about approaching your data with a healthy dose of curiosity. So here it is, your 3-step playbook for active exploration. Number 1, ask the question. Seriously, before you even look at the numbers, what are you trying to figure out? Number 2, explore beyond the obvious. Don't just stare at the big, shiny number at the top. Look for the trends, the details. And number 3, my personal favorite, click the unfamiliar. You see that filter you've never touched? Click it. See what happens. All right, let's make this real. Enough with the theory. Let's walk through a super common, everyday scenario that shows just how powerful this curious mindset really is in practice. So picture this. You open up your weekly revenue dashboard, and bam, your eyes go right to that dip in the latest quarter. Now, if you're a passive viewer, your heart probably just skipped a beat. This does not look good. The immediate reaction for most people is panic, right? Revenue is down, red alert. But the active explorer, they take a breath, and they ask a really simple question. Okay, it's down, but why? So they make just one click. They use that filter to break down revenue by product line. And boom, the whole story changes. That dip, it's coming from just one single product line, a product line that was retired last month. In fact, when they filter that out, they see that the core business revenue is actually trending upwards. How about that? And that right there, that is everything. The passive viewer is already sending frantic emails and sounding the alarm bells. The active explorer, with one single curious click, found the real story. They turned what looked like a crisis into a complete non-issue. So as we start to wrap this up, I want you to think about this as you writing your data's next chapter. It's about taking control, moving from just being a passenger to being the driver. You know, this quote from Curve's CEO, Armin Ishragi, just says it all. This whole thing is about empowerment. It's about you having the freedom to find your own answers right when you need them without having to file a ticket and wait around for somebody else to help you. Look, at the end of the day, all of your data, every single chart, is telling a story. So the only question left is, are you just going to glance at the cover, or are you going to be the one to actually open the book, turn the page, and discover what's waiting inside?